Morning. How are you, lovely?
I'm very well, thank you. Apart from our little technical difficulties this morning.
That wasn't very good, but
Sorry
can't get rid of
about
it.
that.
We're still here.
Yeah, sorry about that, but you can't keep good women down. We are back here and we're going to record a wee session of Savvy Says for you, even though it's not live. We're back live next week with Kate and Fam, fingers crossed. So apologies for the technical difficulties, everybody. But today we're going to chat about things that clients don't want to hear right now. So obviously we know things are very different, but often we don't always change the things that we've always done, and we do things the same. Now, obviously, we do need to make sure that we do change our sales process and our sales techniques and our behaviour and the things we say and adapt it to the current climate. So we are going to first of all talk about not just talking about your cleaning regime. So why is it, Amanda, that we shouldn't just be talking about the cleaning regime when we're putting across sales messages?
You shouldn't make it the be all and end all, I would say. Yes, it's worth mentioning that there is a cleaning regime, and you are obviously more the staff are more conscious of what they have to do because of the COVID-19 regulations. But I don't think it's the only message that you have to say. I think you also probably need to talk about other things that we're doing as well. And it could be that we're just offering one-time stationery on a request basis for any clients that feel the need to have stationery. It might be about meeting people at the door. So you can stop groups congregating in the reception area, which again adheres to the sort of 2 meter ruling, and can suggest that you can advise your clients that we've now introduced table service and apps that you can download if you need to order any food or bar drinks. Again, it's just about reassurance and saying that the hotel or whatever has actually taken on board what needs to be done. And another thing is also one of my clients have actually taken away all of the bedroom information. The in-house directory and the spa opening times and all of
that'll get leafed through, won't it? Lots of fingers
sticky fingers and that sort of thing. So it's about explaining to the guests, yes, we've taken away that, and we are very conscious of you downloading an app, and you can find all the hotel information and directory and everything you need to know on the app. And it might be worth also mentioning again to your client that you've produced, if you have produced a 3D video and talk about the 3D video, and that can be shared to the agents and clients as well. And whilst we're saying don't just talk about the cleaning regime, it's worth mentioning to your clients that the hotel or the venue has got a COVID-19 policy in place. It can be found on their website, and or on reservation letters, and that they are safe to actually open. It's not about just telling them about cleaning.
I think a couple of my clients have pulled together, and I've seen quite a lot as well on LinkedIn and across social media, like pledges. So it kind of shows the pledge that they have to their clients that are coming through the doors, but it also maybe highlights some of those extra things that they're doing that maybe other venues aren't, so it helps them stand out.
You're absolutely right, and it's subtle, isn't it? It doesn't have to be in your face, but it's just sort of being subtle in your messages, which I think is quite important. And maybe that you explain that foot pumping sanitation stations are available now, and if a client needs to have a meeting, there's the use of a lectern, but it will be cleaned down, or a use of mics or whatever, and there'll be single-use mics. And of course, looking at the food element, it's worth mentioning what you're doing in terms of your food delivery. So there isn't going to be a buffet style tea and coffee service. You're actually going to be served your tea and coffee, or guests will be served their tea and coffee. and lunch no longer will be a buffet, but there will be bento boxes that chef provides that people pick up, as well as bowl food. So there's all sorts of those sorts of messages. Again,
I think it's almost going through the customer journey with them, isn't it? It's saying this is what will happen when you arrive, this is the next step, etc. And it's showing them those extra things you're doing at each of those stages, which will then, well, not only set expectations so they know what to expect, but I think it will wow some clients as well, because they might think, oh, they really thought this through, you know, more so than X hotel down the line or down the road.
And also from a salesperson's point of view, that salesperson knows what's going on operational.
True.
And I think that's really important, so that they can reassure their client that yes, this is the correct hotel to place the business, because you know, we all know it's the information is cascaded down from general manager through to operations down to the sales manager. So I think that's really important as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and it goes back to what we were talking about last week, doesn't it, about sales team communication and that kind of thing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about your cleaning regime. It's just that people might also think, well, were they not doing that before? Did they not have high standards before? Like,
why are they harping on about it now?
So it's kind of, like you say, it's those extra things that we're seeing that, again, it goes back to some of the innovative ideas that these fab venues had during lockdown. They're just bringing it now back into reopening, aren't they?
Fruition,
yeah, exactly. I mean, like I say, I've got some clients that have gone the extra mile in terms of they're using these fogging machines. I don't know if you've seen them. So in between sort of overnight, they'll fog the entire venue or the restaurant or whatever, and that kind of like sticks sanitization to everywhere. And I think that's a great thing to also show on things like your social media and stuff, so people can see it in action and that you haven't just forgotten about it just because it might be a few weeks back into opening as a venue. So there's loads of stuff, even like I know Kate was saying she's got a client that's taken all the cushions off the beds, which is kind of, it sounds like an obvious thing, but you know, they're sort of things that would harbour germs and that kind of thing, aren't they? So
the throws and that
so there's loads of stuff that people can do, and it's just shouting about that extra stuff, I guess.
And what do you think then? What else do you think we should be talking about, or not saying? You know, in terms of the messages, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, I think it also going back to your like testimonials and examples of testimonials of amazing events and stuff that you've done pre-COVID. I think you've got to be careful, because it's almost kind of like, this is what you could have had and this is what it's like now. So it's being careful as well about testimonials that you use, because they might not be relevant anymore. You know, that's not the norm now. The norm is going to be social distancing. They want to see what it's going to be like going forwards, not what it was like before. I mean, it's always relevant, I think, to shout about testimonials that include your customer service and how amazing certain team members are, because that's always relevant, isn't it? And people are going to be more comfortable to come to you full stop if they know that you have got that service and those people that are willing to look after you. But I guess the bits that aren't relevant, obviously, are, you know, we had this amazing massive conference, so we did all this network. You know, that's not going to happen, but it's going to be different. So it's making sure that when you do start getting customers through the door, if you have already, or if you're you know, about to get meeting and conference business in, it's asking them all to kind of give you feedback and testimonials, and even better, a video testimonial, so that you can start showing off real examples of
what they've done.
What it's like now, and for them to see that other people have experienced it, and it's different, but it's still good, and it's still great, and
it can still happen. It's about saying, yes, you know, even though we are in these situations, you know, we are having successful meetings. They are taking place in our venue, in our hotel, or whatever. And look, here's some examples of the success that they've had.
And and I think sometimes I don't know if it's because we're British, but we shy away from using those anyway. You know, maybe even when on a sales inquiry, if somebody's like, I'm not sure, say, well, you know, we've had these 2 meetings in, and this is what they've had to say.
That's what, absolutely.
Getting that across on social media, getting it across maybe on the emails that you send out, the proposals. the chats that you have, the appointments you have. I think it's really important, and we sometimes just forget, or we're just a bit like, oh, shouldn't we? You know, I feel like I don't know, reserved in telling people.
Reserved, yeah, we are. As a British, we are quite reserved, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, but we're at a stage now that we can't be reserved. We need to get as much business as we can through the door, and we have to do whatever we can to do that. So you're absolutely right. The testimonials of what we've done and successes is now more than ever so important. So you're absolutely right. I think also we need to shout about those successes and meetings on like you say, on the social media platforms. That's really important, and getting the message across. And I tell you, I also talking to the likes of HBAA and sharing those success stories with them. They're a great advocate and love to hear about success stories, because of course they all like HBAA, MIA, all are very keen to get the industry back on its feet. So I think they'd be really good social points in terms of.
And I know somewhere else that's been sharing success stories, CHS have as well, so Emma and her team.
Emma Cartmel,
So I think you're right, other people are dying to help you out and shout out things for you as well. So ask other people. We're all in it together, like you say. We're all really supporting each other, especially this week, you know, with the campaign and everything that's happening. So just ask other people to shout out about it for you as well.
That's it.
So just coming on to our last point for today, I think there's one other thing that really stands out, and that's not promoting old resources or using old resources. What are your thoughts around
Absolutely.
that?
I think you need to relook at your floor plans, your meeting styles, your setups, and take into account the government guidelines. There's no point, as you've already mentioned, Becky, sort of saying this is what you could have had and this is what you now got. So you can't do that. So you've got to be able to show confidence that you've thought about your space and what can fit in that space. You might need to relook at your collateral and how it looks in terms of social distancing, and what space and setups can fit into that. And that obviously then needs to be sort of advertised not only on your website, but on your proposals, on your social media. You're probably going to have to take photos again, and of these setups. And that's quite important, because you're just given assurances then that you have actually thought about what needs to do and what you can fit in reasonably with the guidelines in terms of meetings and events. So that's something I'd definitely suggest.
I think it's vital, because if I was a booker or an organiser and I was looking at things like websites, social media, etc., maybe just to get an idea before I inquired, and it was just all the old floor plans and capacities and images and videos, I can't get a picture of how my meeting or event is going to look. So I think it's vital. And on your social, like you said, I know that Nikki from Woodhaven Space, she just did a new video. She did it herself mainly, but she did a walk around of the venue now. As it is, you know, she'd got a great video beforehand as well that had sold her venue, but that is no longer relevant for people. So it's doing stuff like that, you know, if you can't necessarily afford to get a professional in, a nice walk round that's authentic and, you know, talking to the camera from the department would be just as nice.
As good. Absolutely. Very easy to do on your phone as well, really.
Absolutely.
You don't have to have a whole crew.
No, not anymore.
No.
Well, we could have done with the crew this morning when we could have done live on Facebook. I think also maybe not forgetting the likes of Cvent and places like that. You know, any other listings you've got, if agents or bookers are looking on there to get ideas, and you stand out because you've got that ready to go, then they're going to come to you first, rather than going to somewhere that they don't think, even if they've not promoted it, they don't think has got it sorted.
And it's also remembering to change all of your online information, you know, you know, with like Cvent or whatever directories you're on.
Yes.
There's
directory,
venue directory, all of that. Just make sure that they're up to date with the social distancing in terms of what your venue can do. Because I don't know about you, but in my past, you just come across something and think, oh my God, look at that old photo. Why didn't I think to change that? Or, you know, it's like, So it's remembering to do your online directories. And I think also, just talking about show rounds, I think it'd be good to set the room up with the distancing in place in terms of the setup when you do a client or agent show round. And rather than just a plain 4-wall room, it's very important. Again, I mean, this is the basics. But
I know, I was thinking, but it's for now. It's just for now. Different circumstances, isn't it, that we're in?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do think it does go back to also, I know I've already mentioned it, but I think it's quite important, setting expectations, because if you're showing them exactly what it's going to be like and what the journey is going to be like, there's no kind of like, I didn't think it was going to be like that, or I didn't think we were going to have to do that. And hopefully, because you have set those expectations, you'll then be able to exceed them on the day.
And there's no surprises then on the day, is there?
Exactly. And then also it should help those people that are feeling a bit nervous about coming back. It should help quell those fears and to help them.
That's exactly it.
Comfortable. And you can do that on a face-to-face show round or a virtual show round, which leads me nicely into, Amanda, what have we got next week?
Right, so next week we're starting our 3-day virtual selling for hotels and venues on the from Monday the 17th, Tuesday the 18th, and Wednesday the 19th. It's not 4 days, don't rest assured. It's an hour and a half for each day, starting at 9 o'clock. So some great information about what you should do in terms of virtually selling your hotel or venue. So
we've really enjoyed pulling it together, haven't we? It's so topical at the moment.
It's really, and I believe lots of people get huge amounts from this course. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very informative. Lots of points and ideas, as well as information and knowledge sharing. So it's going to be a really good 3-day session. So like I said, next Monday, so Monday the 17th is our start date from 10 till 11:30.
So the nice bite-sized session.
Absolutely. So information on the screen now. So
and I do think that this is here to stay. I know that a lot of venues and hotels might be thinking, well, I'm not going to kind of like invest my time in that because hopefully things will be back to normal. But I do think this is going to stay. So I do think it's really important that they get ahead of the game. And also, it's brilliant if you're getting lots of cancellations or people that don't want to book, because you can say, well, have you thought about having it hybrid? Which means that neither of you loses out. So I do think there's some really key advantages there.
You're absolutely
brilliant.
right.
And next week's Selling Savvy, if it goes all right.
Well, fingers crossed the technology will work. So next week, as in every Friday, our live Q&A with Savvy Says at 9:30. So it's not myself or Becky next week. It's actually the lovely Kate and Feb. So come along at 9:30. And what we do, I think they're going to carry on with what we've been discussing about sort of what clients don't want to hear. So there's quite a lot of content there. So again, bring your coffee, your pad, your notebook, and obviously there's a great opportunity to chat as well to us, and quite interactive. So like I say, fingers crossed it works.
So that's 9:30 next Friday, the 21st, on our Selling Savvy Facebook page. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Nice to chat to you as usual. It's nice these last couple of Fridays, Amanda. I'll miss you this week. Have a lovely weekend, everybody, and hopefully we'll see you next Friday for another Savvy Says. Bye.
Great weekend. Bye.